Mars Equestrian and Brown Advisory. We are thrilled to welcome everybody to beautiful Cecil County for the 2022 Mars Maryland 5-Star at Fair Hill, presented by Brown Advisory. You have to put up with me because I said it before the 3-star press conference. I have to say it again. Today was the greatest day in the history of the Maryland 5-Star. Only 2 years, but today was the best. And these were really the 3 stars of the day sitting right here. You know, we talk about the rider's pressure. Well, in a lot of ways, there's more pressure on the course designer, and we have possibly the best in the world with us, an eventing legend, Ian Starr. At my far right, currently sitting in 2nd place following cross country, just back from helping the U.S. team win the silver medal at the World Championships in Crotone, Olympic veteran from the United States, Tammy Smith. And in the center, our current leader, someone who also had a pretty good performance at the World Championships, winning individual and team bronze medals, 2-time Olympic veteran, and the #1 ranked rider in the world from New Zealand, Tim Price. Tim, it's taken me a real long time to get your credentials out there now. But you came here with a rookie horse, his first 5-star, and yet today everything went about as smoothly, including one time where he helped you out. Right. Tell us a bit, if you would. Lean forward a bit more.
Yeah, I think I mentioned yesterday I was a little bit nervous. I've been, is it the right thing to bring a horse halfway across the world? It lacks experience, because it kind of puts it all on the line. It's a lot of investment from the owner and from ourselves. So, but I've always believed in the horse, and yeah, today was the perfect occasion for him with good conditions, a great horse, so that I could just go and try and give him a good education whilst being competitive. So it's just riding that balance the whole way. But he was exceptional, really jumped beautifully. But yeah, the water at the top, the crab, was where he grew another leg and used his own initiative and made a much better decision than me to get the job done. So that's what makes this a mark at the top. A big horse in general, they think for themselves, and especially at that stage of the course, at 9 minutes or something, that he's still able to have the presence of mind to make a good decision and then stay upright, stay on his feet, and then keep thinking forward and ahead of himself. So I'm really pleased it's vindicated all the reasons I thought this was a good decision to bring him, etc. So yeah, I'm very happy.
Super. And Tammy and Tim, we're going to ask you to wait just a moment, if you would, because we know Scotty's got some other obligations he needs to get to. So while we have him, we'll take a few questions for Ian if we could. But you talk often.
Go to get the bar.
Yeah, that's not an obligation. Well, you can wait like the rest of us. You often talk about the pressure and how you worry coming into cross-country day. I imagine you're very happy with how it turned out. Did anything surprise you in seeing how it all rode today?
Did anything surprise me? I think what's made my day actually is the fact that these two, along with Oliver Townend, are riding first-time 5-star horses, and the horses are incredibly lucky to have 3 of the best riders in the world. But they were magnificent in how they took the young horses and helped them and encouraged them. And as Tim said, the young horse helped him. But that's, for me, that sort of highlights why I did this. It was thrilling to watch. And I'm kind of expecting to get a bit of abuse about so many getting inside the time. But for me, it was perfect footing, perfect ground. Some great riding, some bold and fast and brave riding. And I would much rather see 10 get inside the time than 5 on the floor. So I kind of was a little concerned about so many getting inside the time, but I thought it was some great riding, so I can live with it. And it puts a bit more pressure on these guys because the results are a little bit closer as well. But the show going tomorrow, and I don't have to worry about that. So it's no pressure, guys.
Well, stay as long as you feel you can, and when you have to leave, you let us know. So let's open it up to questions, please. We'll start with Lindsay up front, and please raise your hands. Michelle will bring you the mic.
Tammy, can you tell us a little bit about Cheeto's year coming into this? I understand we had a little accident at home and just haven't competed as much maybe as you would have wanted.
What was the last part?
He maybe hasn't competed as much as you would have wanted this year.
He had kind of a freak accident in the barn in January, and Kirk was with it. And I was hoping to actually have him as a contender for the World Championships, but so he didn't have a spring season. It took him probably 4 months to kind of get back to being able to ride, and then I was off away from home, and so my daughter and my assistant, were tripping him back and forth to the pool and water treadmill, and hoping that we could get him fit enough. And I took him. I mean, he'd done Buffalo that October prior, and then his first event was basically at Rebecca Farm in July, which he was really great, but not entirely the fittest for that event. So he's been low on the competition miles this year. So to have him go out and do that and step up, I was quite nervous because Rebecca, that guy, talked me into coming here with him, and so I wasn't.
What a good decision it was.
But you know what? These 5-star horses, you just never know, and he's not got a high percentage of blood, and so I know I ride a lot of horses like that, but I don't really enjoy it. So it's a lot of work, from the rider when you're riding a horse that doesn't have a lot of pop at the end, but he sure did. So I'm super happy with him.
Next, Sally.
Ian, I'm curious about your philosophy developing the 3-star track as a developmental level, and also watching so many come inside the time. I know you said your preference would be to have Money more get the time versus be on the floor, but would you have wielded or done it any differently, knowing now that that's a couple of years that we've been able to get the time for a good amount of the pairs? It's a twofold question.
Are we talking 3 or 5 stars?
5-star for the second part.
I kind of expect 3-star horses, good horses should be able to do the time at 3-star. 5-star is more difficult. To be honest, would I have walked it any differently? I was pretty tight when walking, and the two technical delegates walked separately, and the 3 of us were in 20 meters of each other. So, how do you walk them differently? Do you cheat? Do you lie? Do you cut? Do you make it tighter than it is? No, is the answer. It might be a better competition if the time is unobtainable. But for me, if it's an unobtainable time, there is no limit to how much you push the horses to go faster. And if you can't make it, it's too demoralizing long term for the horses. So, can I make a time? I'm not sure I can. I think probably what the reason this time is that I'm incredibly lucky here. The terrain is phenomenal. The ground is phenomenal. And I've probably very much gone for my philosophy in cross-country riding is right from A to B, not going around in endless dimension circles in 20 acres. So I've made use of the gallop stretches. Maybe I can look at slowing them down a little bit more by putting in slightly more technical questions. That might be something I love today. And I'm kind of known as being a bit of a tough bastard at home sometimes, my family and friends. This lot moved me to tears at the end of the cross country day. I was pretty emotional because I just thought it was a great day and I loved watching it.
So you heard me call it the great day of the 5-star history, so that's great. I see Ollie just joined us, so we'll bring up Oliver Townend to join us here. Okay.
I'm leaving. Thank you.
Well done, Ollie. Thank you very much.
Any other questions?
So since you're joining us now, Ollie, you also have a rookie here. Well, you had told me early in the week I wouldn't see you after dressage, but here you are right now after cross country. Obviously very happy with what went out on here today.
Yeah, he was lovely. Started off baby, grew in confidence as he went. Galloped very easy. He is Prince. He's a little bit of a terrier. You know, he's a character. But yeah, I enjoyed him a lot, and he'll definitely have come on for the run as well.
More questions, please? Back to Lindsay.
I guess for all three of you, could you just discuss a little bit more about the course, what you thought maybe rode harder than expected, or something that rode really well?
We can start with Tim, then Tammy, then on.
Yeah, I think the course was varied in its dimensions. It started off quite small and basic, to be honest. But then the main ring wasn't to be underestimated. There was a real decision made there on the turn where there was 4 or 3 strides effect. I'd say that there was some that were very committed on the 3 and it just wasn't there for them, so they had to the late 4. But it required a lot of thinking time, planning. But yeah, then as you got down around the track, it became big. But what Scotty is very good at is he sees it very much through the horse's eyes. So, for example, the white reins in the corner, they walked big, they rode big, but they were very obvious, and the job to be done was very obvious to us. And the horses bred it and understood it very well, so it was quite fun to watch and fun to ride for the most part. So it was a good course, and from where I was sitting on it, we were all inexperienced horses at this level, it was a good course for that job of educating them. As long as you give them a fairly decent ride, they will hopefully grow in confidence and improve as they go. It just comes back to the time again. This was a little bit easier. I set out so slow, so that I like to start quiet, build it up as they go. What you don't use at the start, I like to think you have at the end, but I can start extra slow around this course, knowing that the fortune being later in the draw, I knew that the time was pretty straightforward, so I started extra slow. And that's just not really the way any 5-star should be approached, in my opinion. I have to say that but yeah, so other than that, I thought it was a brilliant track, and the ground obviously allowed us to travel. And my horse, I think, will really grow up from this round and learn a lot from it and come out and get it.
I think Ollie and Tam are very fortunate to have had the last 2 years at Fairvale, and the ground conditions have been fantastic because they can be pretty relentless. The ground can almost be bottomless, so I think Ian is experienced with knowing that, and probably I'm not certain that there would be many inside the time if we'd gotten the rain that we got last week here. But I agree 100% with Sam, like that it was a great first 5-star for my horse. He was a little bit green first coming out, but everything was right there, and he answered all the questions fantastic. And for a question for me would have been like what that I was most worried about was the crowd water, not knowing after that long haul up the hill what they would feel like there. And I knew that Liz's horse ran out of puff, so I was pretty nervous. So I did start off more steady to make sure that I got him home. But he's little, but he's got a tremendous gallop, so I was able to, just kind of stay in a good rhythm, and that water actually were fantastic, and he had way more in him than I expected. But I would say that if the conditions were different, you would be probably looking at a different top 3 right now. Maybe not Ollie.
I'm still here.
Any comments on?
And the course was fabulous. All the distances
decision and make it happen. Again, couldn't have been happier with how my horse grew in confidence, and I think if you've got hopefully a good jockey and hopefully a good course, that's what you should see out of first time 5-star horses, and I think mine will definitely come on for the run. He gained confidence as he went, and by the end of it, it felt like a proper 5-star horse. But the jumps felt big on him. He's a careful jumper, but as I've said, I thought, as Tim had already said, I thought the ramped boxes to the corner stood up at you and looked like big fences, and it's a 5-star. You should be looking at the fences thinking, blimey, that's big, and and it's great to be able to get stuck in at those big fences on good jumping, nice 5-star horses, whether they're babies or experienced, and get the feel that we all want. And I think the course created that feel. I'd be very happy with the whole thing. I don't think you should ever make the time or wheel the time at a 5-star pending rain. You wheel it properly, and either it rains and we cope, or it doesn't. And that was a little bit disappointing, but whether Ian said it or not, I missed him speaking, but I know he'll be quietly disappointed, and I can guarantee you, as he learns about the venue, he'll start to get more clever about how he's going to slow everyone down. It's a second time, and he's changed the course